good evening, everyone. And for the purposes of recording, hope you are well. We are going to concentrate on some nice de-stressing relief today and some breathing techniques. And everyone seems to have sore hips and sore shoulders this week. Seems to be what I'm dealing with a lot in the week. So we're going to do a little bit more of concentration on there as well. If you do have any questions, if you're watching this on recording, please just ask me, no problem. And of course, people on live, if they want to stop and ask questions, by all means. I will get cracking. If anyone else comes in, I'm possibly expecting another couple, but please bear with me whilst I put them in. So we're going to start down today. So if you want to bring yourself down, and then if you do happen to have a pillow or cushion, anything handy for your to start with your head, then please grab that now. So I'm just going to bring this down. The dog's going to join us as well. He's just next to me. Hopefully I'm not going to crash into the tree, which is right there as well. Right, so let's start rolling yourself down and really finding a sort of your comfortable space. So for some people, and for most people, that's with your knees up. If, however, you do find that more comfortable with your legs down, then by all means, please. Personally, I'm much better with my legs up. Just make sure you've got as much of a neutral spine as you can, and just have a little wriggle around if you need to, just for a second, just to get comfortable. It may be that this is the first time you've been on the floor all day, so your back may take just a couple of seconds just to relax, and you may get just a little tiny dull ache if you're straightening out your back, but try super hard just to breathe your way out of that and just relax. It will only take a few seconds just to relax. So with your hands, wherever's more comfortable. So if there's comfortable, here's comfortable, wherever's best for you. According to yoga, this is the most comfortable, but personally, this is the most comfortable. So wherever's best for you. I'd like you to close your eyes. And very first thing we're going to do is just try to take 3 nice deep breaths. So deep breaths are in through your nose, holding just for a second, and then out through your mouth. We're going to do a little bit of tempo breathing very shortly, but just to relax heart rate and your muscles, we're just going to go for 3 deep breaths. Just in your own time. Dogs come to join. Hello. And deep breath in. Okay, finishing the one you're doing. Apologies, dog's now in the way. Little on that. Oh, he's had a groom. He looks good. Okay, so there's a couple of techniques with regards to breathing that are particularly useful when stress levels are quite high, and this can be when you're sort of really feeling like in a panic, but also when you're just like, oh, I've had enough, and you just need to look away from your screen and just take some deep breaths. So this is quite useful for both occasions. And it's if you can picture either a triangle or a square, I find this quite useful. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a count of 3. So we're going to breathe in through your nose for 3, hold for 3, and then breathe out for 3. We'll start there. I want you to do that 3 times, and then we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and out for 4. And when I say 4, I mean seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that kind of pace. And then it's actually quite a lot harder to do 3 than 4. So we'll start there. And then I want you to do 4 counts of the 4. So 3 rounds of 3, and then 4 rounds of 4. In your own time, I'm obviously going to do it with you, but you will need to sort of count this yourself. So get comfortable, and we're going to start with those 3. Breathe in through your nose. Hold it for 3, and out for 3. Keep it going. Just finishing off where you are. Okay, now we're going to go straight into those fours. So much harder to breathe in. Breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. Okay, we're cycling that 3 more times. Should be nearing the last one now, not that there's a hurry. Okay, just go back to nice deep breathing when you finish those. So, okay. Now what I'd like you to do, mildly odd, is I want you to put your thumb on one side of your nose. So I'm going to sound very slightly like I've got a cold now. And then I want you to take your first finger, so these two, and what we're going to do is say this is my nose in the middle. We're going to hold one side and breathe in. Then you're going to hold both sides and hold it. And then you're going to breathe out and release the other side. Okay, this is a very known yoga breathing technique. So I'll have to show you first if you're not sure. So thumb on one side of your nose. So you're squeezing one side of your nose so you can't breathe in that side. Breathe in on the other side. Hold together, 2, 3, and then release the other side and breathe out. Okay, so it's a nose breathing rather than your mouth. So it's actually a little bit harder, I find. So you're taking your thumb on one side, breathe in, hold, 2, 3, breathe out the other side. Okay, so I want you to try and cycle that just a few times. It's actually really difficult to stop your mouth from doing it. So breathing in through one side, hold through the other side, breathing out through the other side. Okay, so just use your finger and thumb to control the breathing. I want you to give that a go. Please take yourself off mute if you're really struggling, and I'll try to explain it again. So when you're ready, breathing in through one side, hold, release the other side, breathe out, and repeat. Hopefully you're getting this okay. Just do a couple more. Finishing the one you're doing. So how you should be feeling now is everything should be feeling quite calm. Your heart rate's slowed, you're feeling comfortable, and the breath cycles that we've just done should feel quite relaxing. So they're quite good techniques if you're really starting to get like, oh my God, and starting to get really stressed, particularly that nose one, because you have got to concentrate and it instantly detracts you from what you're worried about. One final technique that I find quite useful, actually, particularly with my son, if he's starting to get particularly overstressed, is counting. So you're counting in and then you're breathing out. So it's count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so you can go as fast or as slow as you want to. So You may not be able to breathe in for the whole time, but you're holding your breath, breathing in and holding for 10, and then breathe it out. So let's try that a few times again. Just get comfortable, breathe in. Let's do that a couple more times. Breathe in. Last one. That's also a really nice one. So you've got some techniques there that hopefully will help. Right. Okay, just very, very, very gently waking up the system now, because we've been on the floor and it's all very relaxed now. We do need to do some stretching. So starting with your feet, I'd like you to lengthen your legs very, very slightly. And then I want you to flex your feet up. So you should be feeling that at the back of your legs nice and gently. And then the opposite of flex, so I just want you to bring your heels off the floor and point your toes and then bring it down and up. My feet might be just off camera, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing, understand what I'm doing. So I want you to swap this nice and slowly. So you'll bring your toes off the floor and flexing those feet. And you're holding that for a second, and then you're bringing your toes down to the floor and lifting your heels up. Let's do that one more time. So up, squeeze, down, and lift. Wonderful. Okay, feet flat on the floor again. Just bring them back in a little bit. Just give your toes a little scrunch. So we're doing this. Little tiny, tiny scrunch. That's it. Now, if you could lift one foot up onto your knee, and we're going to create a little cross your leg basically, and just rest your leg onto, and then we're going to roll the ankles. So it doesn't matter how far, I just want you to be able to actually roll your ankle. So in one way, nice big circles. Feet very, very often get quite ignored because they're so far away from our eyes. You just sort of on them and use them a lot and then sort of abandon them. So we'll give them a good little stretch out. That's it. Okay, ankles should be feeling good. Nice and gently swapping sides. So up and over, create some space for your ankle, and then we're rolling. So nice big rolls. And the other way. Good, and replace that back on the floor. Okay, so with your knees, again, they can just be generally overused and quite sore. So I just want you to tilt your pelvis, hands down by your side or onto your hips, so it doesn't matter. And then we're just going to lift that knee and bring it down. Straighten your leg, lift, opposite side, and down. Just keep alternating, nice and gently, very, very gently at the moment, lift and squeeze. And what you should feel is that all your muscles are just squeezing and releasing when you bring it down. Straightening that leg, squeeze those leg muscles, bring it back down. And let's go one more each side. Squeeze and bring it down. And up, squeeze and bring it down. Wonderful. Okay, crossing your legs, so just one leg over the other, keep them nice and tight. Hands definitely to the side now. And we're just going to swing that leg down, bringing it down. Your head should still be on the pillow, your shoulders should still be on the floor, and your knees, if you can, at least one of them, bring it to the floor. Lovely, simple supine twist. Breathing. Okay, take a deep breath in and lift that up. Again, really focusing on using our breathing. We do that anyway, but real concentration on it today. Cross your legs the other side, bringing it down, watching your Christmas tree. And then relax. Nice deep breaths while you're here. Not that easy because this is fairly twisted. Okay, deep breath in and breathe out and lift. Okay, so exactly the same thing, but an exaggeration now. So we're going to put your foot up onto your foot, your knee now, and then we're going to come across exactly the same way, but this is slightly stronger. If you want to place your hand on that knee to bring that down, exaggerate it a little further, by all means, if that's comfortable to do so. And then if you want to exaggerate it further, just turn your head away from your knee, but just making sure that the shoulders stay on the floor. Okay, taking your hand away, deep breath in and lift it up. Excellent. Right, exactly the same from the other side. So up, and then we're going to bring that across. Just, I'm going to have to be careful of my tree, sorry. Bringing it down, and hand onto the knee. Relax. Deep breath. Just remember to keep that shoulder, as I said, onto the floor. Knees, they may not reach. I'd prefer that your shoulder was on the floor than your knee was on the floor. That's more of a twist there. Okay, deep breath in and lift. Excellent. Okay, right, bringing those legs down. As you can probably tell, we're working our way up. So now I'd like you to lift that leg, just one, or choose one, and bring it up to the ceiling. Now, if you can't bring that up to 90 without holding it, by all means, just take a nice little hold, but try really hard not to pinch the back of your leg too much, because your sciatic nerve goes all the way down here, and I don't want that pinched. But if you can hold it without, and I want you to flex that foot, that is quite a strong stretch. So if that's very uncomfortable, just assist with your hands. Holding it here. Now, the other way of doing this, if you are, again, really struggling, is coming against the wall, which we have done a number of times before. That's the other way of doing this. I'd like you to try and do it this way because it is a little bit tougher and stronger. Holding it here, one deep breath in. And unflex that foot and bring it down nice and slowly. Just give yourself a little jig and then lift up. Now, I'm rarely asking you to keep your leg dead straight and then flex that foot, but this is an occasion where you can actually lock. So Amy, if you're watching this, you can actually lock that leg out, even if you are hypermobile, because there's no pressure on it, apart from gravity. Keep that leg nice and straight and feel that stretch down the back. Your quad is working a little bit to stabilize yourself. Deep breath in and unflex and bring your leg down. Okay, just give yourself a little wriggle if you need to. Right, I think you know what's coming, so we're going to do both now. So one at a time, lift the first one up. So tilt your pelvis, lift the first one up, nice and straight, and flex that foot. And then you're just going to bring the other one up and do exactly the same. Ideally, the 90. If you're really struggling, obviously we're holding. If you're still struggling, don't flex your feet and just bring your knees slightly bent. That will still get a stretch. But if you are able to do this, it is quite strong, being able to hold this. Now, shoulders, very likely to try and get involved and start doing this. Actively drop your shoulders. Actively relax the top half. It kind of wants to help. I don't want it to. Keeping it there. Maybe a very, very slight little wriggle. Okay, unflex your feet. Bring them down nice and slowly and relax. Lovely. Give yourself a little wriggle. Fantastic. Right, we're going to exaggerate this supine twist whilst we're down here. But I just want you to very mildly engage that core first. So hands onto the base of your core. Tilt your pelvis. Deep breath in and then just engage the core. This isn't Pilates, so we're not going to go mad. And then deep breath in and just bring those knees in towards you. Okay, so it should be engaged rather than having to do anything specifically. So we're going to start with a little sort of pendulum swing, and then we're going to exaggerate that, and then I'm going to bring you all the way down. So hands out to the side to stabilize you, and then we're just tiny, little tiny, I wouldn't say swings, but even rocks, just a little tiny movement. Now this should be super nice for your lower back, which usually takes quite a lot of stress in the day. So now I just want you to very slightly exaggerate that movement. So you're not quite lifting off, but you're not far off. Okay, now I'm going to exaggerate further, and then one side of your pelvis is definitely lifting. Now, depending on how far your knees are in, that will be, if they're right in, it's slightly higher. If they're not so far in, it'll be slightly lower, right, almost towards your glutes. So you take a judgment call on where you prefer this little self-massage to hit. So now you can feel one is really definitely off the floor, and then you're swinging it over, and then it's off the floor the other side. That's it. Now, exaggerating one more, just a little bit further. So we're still very much off the floor, definitely, definitely. Large element of control required here, just swing. Okay, right, now we're coming down to the floor. So all the way down, just use your muscles to control it slightly, and then you're just going to relax, okay? Now, again, if your shoulders really started to come off the floor, I really want you to try and push it back down. If it really is having none of it, just hold on to it. Completely ideally, I do want these relaxed on the floor though, because your oblique muscles will be doing far too much. That's for Pilates, we'll do that tomorrow. Okay, deep breath in and lifting. Wonderful. Okay, and then exactly the same thing the other side. Rearrange pillows if you need to, because I'm starting to creep down. So it might feel different one way than the other way. Just go with it. Most bodies aren't exactly equal, unfortunately. Apart from Juliet. Deep breath in. Okay, deep breath in and lift up. On the out breath. Wonderful. Okay. Hands onto your knees, and then we're just going to do some little tiny, tiny rolls this time. So rolls slightly different to the rocks. When you find the roll, it will get this one. Will get your coccyx and your very, very lower vertebrae. And then the other way. Nice big circles. Okay, bringing it back to center. Wonderful. Holding onto your knees really nice and tightly so you get a good grasp, and then bring them right in. Just pre-warning, if you need the loo, this isn't the best one. It's all right. Your sound's not on. We're all good. And release. Breathe in and just pull that in. And release. Can do that a couple more times. Really pull that nice and close. This is definitely easier for some than others, just as close as you can get. And release. And one more. Bring it in nice and close. And release. Wonderful. Okay, bring those legs back down. Roll it down, roll it down. Okay, so again, just have a little wriggle and just make sure you feel comfortable. Still trying to concentrate on your breathing, whatever we're doing, just really try and do some nice deep breaths. It really will help. Hands down by your side. And now we're just going to work our way up the back a little bit more, and then we'll sit up in a sec. So bring yourself up, hands up to the ceiling, and really try and bring those fingertips right up. So you'll feel that your shoulder blades to the edge are lifted right off the floor. And what that feels like is your spine right down the middle is very much on the floor. So it should be exaggerated. So got that little lift. Bring that down. Deep breath in. And then lift up again. So it's a good few inches that you can actually bring that up. And then relax it down again. Deep breath in. And lift on the out breath. Really stretch it up. Okay, now this one, we're going to cross your hands over and then bring them round. Just give yourself a nice, very welcome hug. Very well deserved. Now, once you're down here, I want you to completely relax those shoulders down. Okay, so you've got your elbows are still low and you've got them right around your chest. Now we're going to slowly bring those elbows up. If you have got quite sore shoulders, this will hello Bob. This will assist. So you're slowly bringing them up, slowly bringing them up. Deep breath. And slowly bringing them down on the out breath. Let's do that again. So you've got a really strong hug. Bringing them up. Remember to breathe. Very slow move. Nice and high. And slowly bringing them down again. Okay, you're going to unfold yourself. Once they're down, unfold yourself from that. And you're going to bring your arms down and just relax them. So if your shoulders are feeling quite tight, that is quite a strong one. So bringing it up again. Now this time, you've got to remember which way you crossed over. Usually your lead hand is at the top. Juliet, I don't know which one you used. So all the way up and over. So other side, bringing yourself round, give yourself a nice, good hug. And then bring those elbows down and relax them on your chest. Try and relax, breathe. And then we're going to nice and slowly lift those elbows up. Lift, 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 nice and high. And then nice and slowly bringing it back down again. Apologies, hopefully you can hear me because I'm muffling myself with my own arm. And relax, and then bringing it back up. If you're starting to feel any pinching, there should be no pinching, okay? So if you are starting to feel a pinch, just release yourself. If you do have quite full shoulders, Juliet, just be careful with this one. And back down. Relax, relax, relax. Bringing it up and release yourself down. Lovely. Okay. Just whilst we're here, before we start to move ourselves physically up, I want to do a tiny bit more work on hips because, as I mentioned, everyone's hips seems to be very, very sore this week. So a really nice one to do for this one is actually a butterfly stretch. So if you can keep your feet together and just butterfly your legs, or diamond, as it's sometimes called as well, your knees out. Your feet or your heels can be as close or as far away as you want, just as long as it's comfortable. The further in they are, the stronger this stretch is. Now, some people really, really struggle with this and you'll start to arch. If you're finding like, oh my God, that's very uncomfortable and I'm starting to arch, 2 fists and then just place them underneath basically pretty much your bum cheeks. You can place them underneath there, and that will release. And make it easier. If you don't need to do that, then just release that, because gravity will pull these down a little bit further. So inner thighs getting a stretch, hips are getting a stretch. It is actually quite strong. And your top half will sort of try to just really, really relax your shoulders and don't let that get involved. And you'll feel, hopefully after a few seconds, if it hasn't done already, just sort of relaxing just by a few millimeters more. Really try and breathe in this one. So in through your nose, out through your mouth. Okay. Now just bring very, very gently and assist with your hands if you want to just bring your knees in slightly. Then I'd like to actually cross your legs so you should be able to feel a bit of a difference. They might be able to go a bit lower, your knees, if they're crossed. But again, what we're trying to do is avoid that arch, too much of an arch in your back. Nice deep breath in. Good. Okay, using your hands very, very slowly, otherwise it will pinch your groin. Bring that in and just untangle your legs from each other. Okay, so another really nice hip groin area in general movement to do is if you bring that knee in and then drop your leg down, and then you're going to bring that leg out to start with. So bring your hands on the other side so the other hip doesn't start lifting up. And again, you're just going to try and use gravity to relax that right down. This one tends to go, if you leave it, it will just start sinking. If you want to exaggerate this further, you're just pulling your knee towards you a bit more. Okay, that's more of a stronger stretch. Hopefully you would have feel it stop sinking now. Holding it there. Nice and slowly and gently pulling that back in. I cannot stress that you need to do this slowly, otherwise your groin will just go out. And then you're swapping hands. This is a very small move. You're bringing that knee across your body. So I certainly don't want that anywhere near the floor. It's just literally across your own body, just by a matter of inches. Both bum cheeks staying on the floor. So it's not a supine twist. Not the same anyway. Okay, bringing that back to center. And whilst we've got this position, I just want you to bring that in. That will get your hip flexor. Right in. Relax your shoulders. Okay, and relax that leg down. Bringing the other leg up. Exactly the same thing. So just relax that leg down to start with. And then you're going to bring your knee out. Hand on the opposite hip. Just really let that sink. It will take a little minute. It will eventually just sink down. Don't worry if it can't go out too far. It's wherever's working for you. Nice deep breath. Might still be sinking slightly. Again, to exaggerate, pull that knee slightly towards you gently. Once you've stopped sinking, just hold it there. Okay, nice and gently bringing that back in. And then we're swapping hands, and then you're bringing it across your body. and then bringing it back to center and bringing it down. Wonderful. Okay, so just bring your legs nice and long and just give them a little jig. Okay. If you can sit up, or if you want to use a leg to sit up, please just take a seat all the way up. Please give yourself a second. We've been down there for well over half an hour now. So in fact, nearly 3/4 of an hour. Excellent. Right. So nice and gently, crossing your legs. If you want to, only if you want to, you're just going to sit on that cushion. It's completely up to you. Whatever's more comfortable. Oh, okay, right. Eyes should have adjusted. So as I always say, if you put one foot in quite far in and then the other foot just slightly less far in, what that allows is your hips to relax as far out as possible. So again, concentrating on the hips, that's what I want to start with. So just bring your hands or your elbows. And if you are propped up on a cushion, this should actually be a little bit easier just to ease those down. Now we have different abilities in the class. So if we are still, you know, definitely up here rather than down, it's just the pressure that you do. So you can hear or there, just as long as you're feeling that there's a little bit of pressure to create a stretch. If you're right down the bottom, if you are literally on the floor, then I just want you to straighten your back, drop your head wherever we are, and take some deep breaths. Try to keep your back relatively straight, giving your lungs a chance to fill up as much as possible, and really try and stretch that out. Okay, just releasing yourself out there really nice and slowly. So want to do a couple more leg things, but just whilst we're in this position, we'll just finish off with the back. So one arm up, nice and tall first, and then leaning over. Just go as far as your body will allow today. And then the other side, up and over, tall first, and then coming over. And up and over. Right, so let's go again. See if you personally feel like you've got a little bit further. Keeping bum cheeks on the floor, and this knee, if it starts to try and rise up, just really push it down. Nice. Beautiful. Balletic. Stretch this one. Total and utter favorite. It works in all manner of occasions. If you're just feeling like you need to stretch that back out. And bringing it up. Right, let's just have a little look at that chest. So if you bring your hands behind you, now this just completely depends on how flexible your pectoral muscles are. So if you can, we're going to squeeze back and lift off, and I'll just spin so you can see. But for some people, that's just totally impossible. So just to stretch back as much as you can, straighten those arms and lift. Holding it here, just looking forwards. Bringing that down and release. Just give you one big shoulder roll. Bringing it back. Really attach your hands together. So we're just going to slightly exaggerate that and help with the hips at the same time. So push back, arms straight, lift, and then we're going to lean forward. For goodness sake, be careful. If you feel like you're going to fall on your nose, please don't lean forwards. So it's a little lean, okay? You're not trying to keep your back straight. You're not curving. Okay, if that makes sense. And bring yourself back upright. Release your shoulders and relax. One big roll backwards. Okay, so the antagonist muscles all the way at the back. Bring your hands together. We've done a little bit of work on this. It feels different when you're up. So curve those shoulders, drop the shoulders, drop your head, back up straight, tummy in. if you've got all of that. Deep breath in and relax. So your shoulder blades should feel like they're doing that slightly. Really nice feeling, but it's quite strong. And again. Okay, and relax. Wonderful. Right. As we have been doing all evening, I'm going to continue to work my way up. So neck always takes absolutely loads of stress, of course. So one big circle back, drop, and then drop your head looking into your lap. Again, if you have got a lot of stress here, that's quite uncomfortable. It won't be, but it is at the moment. Really feel just a little bit of pressure on those shoulders, like I'm just pressing very slightly on them. Really drop that chin to your chest. Bringing your head up and relax, just relax entirely. Let's do that again. So it's quite strict, and then I just want you to flop at the end. Okay, so all the way up and back, hands in front of you, head down, looking at those hands on your lap. Keep your shoulders down and back. Holding it here. Nice deep breath. Okay, lifting your head and relax. Good, that should feel a little bit better. Right, so a little further exaggeration on that. We're going to move the head, but before we do that, I just want you to move your head generally. So we're just going to go to one side, keep your posture aware, bring it back to the center, and then we're turning it. So just turn it as much as you can turn it. People's movement here is all very, very different. Back to center. Some people are owls. Some people definitely can't even get to the shoulder. And back, and one more. And back to the center. Lovely. Right. Same again, but we're going to do that movement that we just did. So up and round and down, dropping your head. And now we're going to semicircle, but keep your chin towards your chest. Same movement, but your head's in a different position. Bring it back to center. Across. Back to center. So where you're looking is you're keeping your eyesight down and you're looking just past your knee onto the floor. Back to center. And again, across. Chin towards your shoulder if you can. Back to center. Looking up and relax. What you should feel is it actually feels quite heavy now. It's like, oh God. But should feel much more limber than it did. Right. One more. So hand and hand. And then we're going to just pull that away. Now you might hear, it's very odd, but a bit cracky in your ear. That's because we're stretching that little muscle there. Don't be surprised if you hear a slight cracking and popping in your ear. It's very odd. As long as it doesn't hurt, just release and your head will come up to the other side and to the other side. Just release those away. Just make sure you're going the right way. So we're not doing that. You're releasing them away from each other. That's it. Really try very hard not to pull. It's ease, not pull. Very strong. Okay, release your head and it should pop up. Right. Scrunching up, and then you're going to do a deep breath out and relax. Okay, so breathe in and good, lovely. I've got a lovely row of all of you doing that. That's beautiful. And up and that's it. Wonderful. You can feel the stress coming out. And one more deep breath in and wonderful. All right. So should be feeling nice and limber and nice and relaxed now. Right, we're going to go teeny tiny bit stronger for the last few minutes. Don't worry, it's not going to be too horrendous. So as we are in this position, one leg out, I want you to, you can't quite see, I'm assuming the camera, but I want you to flex your foot. And then we're going to take hold of the foot if you can, or anywhere near the foot, shin, ankle, something like that. And then you're going to bring up nice and tall and over, keeping your chest towards me, not towards your leg. A little bit stronger, that one. If you have got hold of that toe, really pull that in. And back up. Deep breath in. And again, out and over. And back up. Lovely. Okay, swapping sides. Nice and elegantly. I'm just going to avoid my tree. Not that easy to do. Okay, so bringing it down, keeping your chest outwards and arm over. If you have got your foot, just really pull that to flex your foot and back over. Deep breath in and out again and over. Definitely, usually worse on one side than the other. And back up. Oh, excellent. Right, okay. So let's maneuver a little bit more now before we get completely stuck. So what I'd like you to do, you're going to need to remove your cushion, but just bring yourself onto all fours. Okay. Very, very mildly more dynamically. Again, this is for your shoulders if they are feeling a little bit tough. Juliet, just bear in mind that this is quite strong. So if it's too strong, just do a much more, less deep version of this. So bringing yourself all the way down and just push head onto the floor. Juliet, here, okay? Not necessarily all the way out. Deep breath in and then out breath, sink down again. Deep breath in and sink down. Okay, so shoulder and hip combo. So bringing it down, deep breath, bringing it up, and then you're going to bring those hips forward. Now, if that is your back's like no chance, just come down to here. If you are comfortable, then you're going to bring that right down. But for goodness sake, don't do that. If your back's pinching, very much not the point. It's a hip flexor and an ab stretch, not a back pinch. Bringing it up, just use your muscles to bring yourself up, bringing it forward. Deep breath, sink it down. Bringing it forwards and drop and sink. And again, use your muscles to bring yourself up. Bring it forwards, bring it backwards, head down. Deep breath in and sink. Bringing it forwards and sink down and relax your shoulders. Lovely. Okay, just roll yourself down from there, hands to the side, and then we're going to press up onto all fours. Wonderful. Right. Nice and strong cat stretch here. Bring your head down. Bring that through to your cow. So we're going to go a tiny bit quicker this time. So bringing it up. 1, 2. Stretch. Bring it through and down. Let's go a couple more times. Bringing up. Stretch and through and down. One more. Bring it up. Stretch. Through and sink. Lovely, bringing that up to neutral. Okay, we're going to finish with, it is hips, but it's slightly inner thigh because it's very difficult to stretch there. So once you're in this position, I want you to tuck your toes under. You're going to come into a downward dog position, but it's not actually that we're doing it for. I want you to straddle. So you're going to come up, downward dog, and then come into a straddle. So your hands, if you can, are on the floor. So drop your head. You're going to, I mean, the straddle can be as wide as you want it to be, just as long as you can hold it. Then what I'd like you to do is come to the side
and bend one knee. If you can see that, I'm just going to turn because it's not actually that easy to see. So you're coming down. Okay, so one leg is straight, one leg is bent. Come back to the center, drop your head. Coming back up and across. Not the easiest one to hold, this one. Should wake your legs up there and give them a really good stretch. Back to the center, head down and across. Drop that knee down. Big stretch all the way in inner thigh. Okay, let's do that one more each side. Back to the center and down, drop the head. Bringing it up and across. And back up to center, drop your head. And then last time across, and just make sure that if you want to use your elbow to exaggerate that further, get that really good stretch. Okay, bringing it back to center. I want you to just walk your feet very slightly further in because it's quite hard to come up from there. Dropping your head, feeling that stretch right down the back of your legs. Really try and relax your back. I want you to put hand into each elbow, create a little square and drop your head in the middle of it. And that really should drop your shoulders down. So final shoulder move. Okay, relax your hands, they should be lower. And then you're going to very, very gently roll your way up. Just be careful because we have been on the floor for an hour. Roll it up nice and gently. Once you're at the top, either walk or just a little gentle jumping your legs in. Give me 1 second, I'll just shift the camera up. Oh, hello everyone. Right, oh, you can't actually even see me. Fluffy hair, it's looking good. Right. Okay, so we're at the top. So one arm up and one arm stays down, and I want you to just, so as if I'm doing that. So that's coming down, that's coming up, that's coming down. Pull and push. Bring yourself back to where you feel is neutral. You're scissoring your hands, and then you're pulling and pushing. Juliet, darling, on one side, if that's too much, just here, okay? You don't need to bring it all the way up. Back to neutral, bring it across and up. And back to neutral, one more. And lift. And back to neutral and bring that arm down. One final little roll, one way then the other way. Lovely. Okay, finishing as always with our little sweeps. So hip width apart, bring your hands down, all the way up. Nice and tall, squeeze those glutes, don't look at me, and lift. Okay, a couple more. Zoe was amazing and managed to do this all with her eyes shut last week. I'm loving your work. And lift. I don't think I'm feeling so brave today. And one more, all the way down. Nice deep breath in, all about the breath this evening. And lift and breathe out. Wonderful. Absolutely amazing work this evening, guys. Thank you so much. Okay.